Greetings, respected viewers. I'm George from Ireland, and here I am in Ireland. Lest it be said, I almost never come to my native land. So I'm in Kinsale, and this is a town on the southern coast of Ireland, not far from Cork. We're still in County Cork, and it's renowned as the gastronomic capital of Ireland because it has so many splendid gourmet restaurants. It's very close to Cork Airport, just a short drive south, and as you can see, it's on the sea, so there are plenty of yachts back there. We're not quite in Cork Harbour, but we're still quite protected by this natural harbour here, just a little bit to the west of Cork Harbour. And it's been a city since, well, not city, there's been a settlement here since the Iron Age, certainly. And there was, when the English came over in the 12th century, some of them settled here. This town had parliamentary representation in Dublin, although our parliament was in Kilkenny sometimes, occasionally Dundalk and places. What else about it? Well, one of the very significant events was, well, the Battle of Kinsale. There was a big castle, largely ruined, just outside the town, and so there was the Munster Rebellion, and then the Spanish landed here. So there's a big rebellion by Gaels in Ulster a bit earlier on, and then in Munster in the 1590s under Elizabeth I, partly because obviously there'd been the Reformation in England that come to Ireland, but hadn't not been effective in Ireland. There'd been only small pockets of Protestantism, some English and Welsh moving in. Remember, Scotland was not politically connected to England and Wales in 1603. We have a much longer standing political connection to England and Wales, something which many people in Ireland seem to overlook, although that's largely broken for most of Ireland, broken for the Republic, although kind of come back through the EU, but that's soon going to be over. Anyway, I digress. So the Spanish landed here, and the majority of the population were Catholics, a lot of us are Irish speaking. Remember, there were these so-called Old English, 12th century English and Welsh immigrants who mostly remained Catholic and remained English speaking, but they often threw that a lot in with the rebellion as well. But so the Spanish landed in support of the Catholic cause. Philip II, King of Spain, he claimed to be the rightful King of Ireland as well as King of England. Remember, he'd been married to Mary Tudor, Bloody Mary as Protestants called her, and he'd been King Consort of England. As part of the marriage treaty, it said, yes, but that's a title that doesn't actually confer on him any political rights. He does no prerogatives that he can exercise. But despite that, he said, no, I really am king. You can't limit the prerogatives of a king. Wanted to rule by fiat, such as in Spain. So he dispatched troops over here. So to cut a long story short, eventually the rebels and the Spanish were defeated. That's not to say that all Catholics were against the Queen of Ireland, because some of my ancestors, being Catholics from Galway in that time, fought for the crown, fought for the Queen of Ireland against the Spanish invaders and against the insurgents. So Christmas Eve, 1601 was the Battle of Kinsale, and the attempt to relieve the siege failed, so that was that. So pretty soon, leading to the end of this war, 1604, the Treaty of Hampton Court. But by that time, James I was reigning over Ireland, England, and Wales. In Scotland, of course, he's known as James VI, King of Scots. And there was the exhaustion, and his terms were relatively lenient because he simply wanted to end the conflict, get the Spanish out of the conflict. So that was that. So Kinsale was a very significant place for that reason. And then what happened shortly after that? Well, in 1607, he got wind that some of the Gaelic chieftains, because we were tribal in those days, having our chiefs being a semi-nomadic people. Remember, before the potato came to Ireland, arable agriculture was difficult. We could grow barley. We relied on cattle and sheep to a much greater extent than since. And anyway, his long ears told him that there was another revolt plotted. Now, that might have been nonsense. There were other things like the Bye plot, which people think in England, which people think is now as a hoax. Some people will even say that about the gunpowder plot of November 1605. Read Lady Antonia Fraser's book on it. Anyway, so he planned to arrest many of the hereditary magnates here in Ireland. There'd been this policy of surrender and regrant under Henry VIII, so Gaelic chiefs renouncing their title that they got from their tribe, or their clan, and taking a title which was in the gift of the king. But what the king gave, he could also take away. Remember, chieftainships in Ireland was semi-elective, elected within a family, wasn't primogeniture. But nevertheless, the Gaelic titles continued, despite people having said that they had abjured them. Anyway, so these chieftains fled. That's 1607. That's the flight of the earls. fleeing largely to France, to Spain, to Catholic countries, entering the service of various armies on the continent: Portugal, Spain, France, the Papal States, the Holy Roman Empire, that's Austria, and forming this martial class, which lasted even into the Second World War in some cases, occasionally even Russia. Well, that's a little bit about Kinsale. A lovely place. It's becalmed at the moment. It's rather grey despite the day. And you can see this, anchor here, telling you a bit about its storied maritime heritage, and that sail there. So I'll leave it there with Kinsale for the moment.